Okay guys, I want to talk to you about my weight. I want to tell you how much I weigh, how much I weighed at my heaviest. There are very few people on this planet, probably just like my doctor and Angel, that know how much I have weighed. Because I'm making so much progress and I want to celebrate with you guys. So let's go through my weight gain and weight loss journey. As a teenager, my whole life, I was like about 120. And then I was in this abusive relationship for like 8 years. So in my adult teens, I had gained up to like 145. And I don't know if it's because I was happy in a relationship, unhappy, probably because I was unhappy. But I gained up to 145. And then after, which was fine with me, I guess. I mean, I wasn't happy about it. Like, I did freak out. I did cry in a dressing room one time, but wasn't the end of the world. And then after I left that relationship, I lost a lot. I lost down to like, I don't know. I don't really know, honestly, but I lost a lot. And I don't know if it's because I was depressed or because I was happier, but I ended up moving out of my parents' house and I moved in with my ex-friend who was actually really abusive and sexually assaulted me a lot, and it was a really bad environment. I ended up gaining up to like 155. So I think whenever I'm unhappy, I gain, and whenever I'm happy, I lose. Except for whenever I was like living my anorexic lifestyle, like in my teenage years, which did continue into my adult years. So I was homeless for a while, like, I was homeless, going with the rapists and going with my parents, like back and forth, right? Till I moved to Oklahoma. Whenever I moved here, I realized that I was 160, and I just thought that that was the end of the world, like literally laying on the bathroom floor, crying for like 2 hours. And little did I know it was about to just get way worse. So after that, I decided I want to work out, I want to lose weight. But here's the thing, here's the kicker. I was eating normally because I was outside of my parents' house, and I had the opportunity to do that. I was cutting my hair and I was embracing my true identity. And so I started not worrying so much about being thin because I wanted to be thin because of my dysphoria. So as my dysphoria was healing, I was able to eat more. Now, I was eating like pretty much just like an average American diet, not healthy. I was eating some fast food and some, chicken nuggets and stuff like that. But I wanted to keep gaining weight. I wanted to keep losing weight. So I started working out. But I was only doing cardio. So I was going on runs, I was going on walks, I was going to the gym and doing like the treadmill, elliptical. That's really all I was doing. I wasn't incorporating any like nutrition, any diets, any cardio or anything. I was doing only cardio. I wasn't doing any strength training. So I found out that I need all three of those to lose weight. It's not the same for everybody, but that's how it is for me. So that's all I was doing, and I just kept on gaining and I didn't understand why. So I got up to 180, and at that point I just gave up. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm working out, I'm working my ass off, and I'm still gaining weight. I don't care anymore. And so I kept eating just a shit American diet, and I got up to 200, and to me 200 in my stupid little anorexic brain was a death sentence. Like, that was the worst case scenario. Like, might as well just die. And so I was suicidal and depressed, and I got to the point that I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go back to my anorexic lifestyle. So I did, and I was eating less than 600 calories a day. I was walking like 3 to 6 miles a day in the heat in Oklahoma, about to pass out, and it worked. I got down to like 190. Probably all of it was water weight though. And since that lifestyle is not sustainable, and I was in therapy and my therapist was like kind of on my ass about this, I started working my way up to eating how I was before. So not healthy diet, but eating. And guess what? I gained even more than I had lost, even more than I was to begin with. Whenever I started starving myself again, I got up to 210. And that's what happens. Whenever you live that lifestyle, you either have to commit to it until you die, or start eating again and then you gain a whole bunch, because that's just how our body works. And so at 210, I realized, I don't know, I just got to this point where in my therapy, I started actually like working on my real relationship with my body. And I made a lot of breakthroughs. One breakthrough that I made was my therapist explained to me that like if you live an anorexic lifestyle for a long period of time, which I was doing throughout my teens and my young adult years. I'm 25 now, so when I say young adult, I mean like 18 to like 21. So I shut my metabolism just off. Like if you live that way, your metabolism just stops working because your body's just trying to keep anything that it can. Like you don't burn fat at all. And so then when you start introducing food and a normal diet, you gain a lot of weight because your metabolism doesn't work. Also, drinking heavily continued. I mean, I've always been a heavy drinker, but my drinking heavily continued, and that doesn't help either because that's a lot of calories. Like all of my calories throughout high school and my undergrad were like all alcohol probably. But now I'm getting like a bunch of fast food and stuff, and I'm drinking heavily. Of course I was gaining weight. So that was like a big breakthrough for me. Like to realize that, you know, it was the anorexic lifestyle that led to this type of weight gain through my healing journey. Like you've got to go way up before you can be okay. And so like my BMI was underweight, then it was normal, and then it was overweight, and then it was obese. I've been everywhere. Like I'm considered medically obese, even though like you think obese is like 600-pound life, right? No, it's really not. Like the BMI is kind of bullshit. It really is. Don't listen to the BMI, trust me. But I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable because I was having to buy a bunch of new clothes, and I didn't like the way that I looked. I mean, I have an eating disorder, right? I have anorexia. Of course I hated it. But then I had another breakthrough in therapy. And this breakthrough was that I don't even want to fit into society's like standards for the female body. I want to fit into their standards for the male body. And men have a little bit more wiggle room, you know, like we can be a little chubby. And I started seeing being bigger as being masculine. And, you know, I was on testosterone for like the last 20-30 pounds that I had gained. So like probably a lot of that was muscle, and I just didn't know. I wasn't doing any strength training, so I didn't really think it would be that. Maybe like some of that, I did do a little bit of strength training whenever I first started testosterone, because I was like, yeah, now I'm gonna be a man. I had just started though, so it was a struggle. I probably did gain like maybe like 5 to 10 pounds of muscle though doing that. But of course I was like, oh, it's just all fat and I hate myself. But you know, I started working on this in therapy, and with my voice dropping and my hair being cut and my facial hair growing, like I just started to feel so much more at home and comfortable and at peace in my body. So I've been doing so much better. I don't think that I've ever gotten to a point that I like love my body, but I definitely accept it. I really, truly, genuinely, wholeheartedly accept it for what it is, and I'm happy with it. And when I got to that point, I was like, okay, let's gain more pounds of muscle. Like let's get healthy, let's get fit, like let's be more masculine, like let's work out and like be a dude. Like that finally clicked. And so I was like, okay, strength training, like let's go. So I did just strength training, just lifting weights. I'd have like an arm day, a leg day, and a core day. And then at that point I was like, I feel like shit. I've got to start eating better. But I cannot let myself slip into my anorexic habits either, because we all know that doesn't even help in the long run, right? Even with the anorexic goal, still doesn't help. So I worked with my therapist to come up with compromises and like a plan to count calories, but to never get below 1,200 a day, and I'm gonna try to stay under 1,500 a day, because that makes my anorexia brain happy and also like my healthy brain happy. Now, I do not advocate for doing that diet, because that is actually still a calorie deficient. That is actually still under what you should be. So I ended up losing weight for like the first time in forever in a healthy way. And I started doing research and looking up like workout videos and like following different YouTubers and TikTokers. And I just got really into the fitness lifestyle in a healthy way. And that's whenever I decided I gotta start incorporating cardio, because this is just healthy. Like balancing these three things, like nutrition, eating healthier options, counting calories, and having somewhat of a plan, doing fitness training and cardio. Like I learned that those are all three going to go hand in hand to come up with the best lifestyle for me. And I am under 200. I've gotten under 200, which wasn't even the goal. It wasn't even the goal. It's so meaningful and symbolic to me because it symbolizes several things. First of all, it symbolizes the fact that if you ever get to a point in your health where you just thought that you would never get and you think it's the end of the world, it doesn't have to be, because you can fix it. And it also symbolizes, more importantly, that you cannot fix your body if you don't first fix your mind. You have to accept where you're at before you can actually fix your body in a sustainable, like long-term way, because these things are becoming a part of my lifestyle. And I have a problem where I start things but I never stick with them. I've stuck with this for like almost a month now. Like I've stuck with the strength training for a month. I've stuck with the nutrition and cardio for like 2 weeks, and like that's longer than normal because it's becoming a normal habit for me. I'm even drinking more water because I know that keeps water weight down, and I need it for the energy. So as I continue working out, I'm even going to up my calories when my anorexia brain allows me to do that. So I'm going to stick with therapy. I'm going to stick with this lifestyle, and I'm just so excited. I'm working on a fitness vlog right now so that y'all see me like every day through all my struggles and everything, and I'm going to post it to YouTube. It's gonna be a whole thing, but yeah, this is just meant like for encouragement, and I love you guys. Thank you for following me through every part of my journey, my best, my worst. I'm doing great right now, and yeah, okay, that's all.